Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And hey, it's good to be back actually, Jeff. It's been 2.5 months I think since we've done this, right after the regular season, before the playoffs, before the Super Bowl. We have not really talked any football, so it's nice to come back. We're going to talk free agents today, their landing spots, some trades that went down as well. But this will be one time. We're going to come back for like one episode, probably take another little hiatus until the draft at the end of next month. But we actually got some news to talk about. So we're going to jump through all of the relevant signings on offense. Some we might miss, but that means they probably didn't register as relevant in our mind. Because I even have some that really aren't relevant, but I put some names out here, so we're going to talk them out. We'll start with the running backs, go through them here, Jeff. Miles Sanders is the first one we got. Miles Sanders goes to the Carolina Panthers, who obviously traded Christian McCaffrey last year, but even after that, they were still pretty solid on the ground with, Deontay Foreman, right?
Yeah,
and
Chuba
Hubbard. So Sanders goes there. I don't think that's a bad spot for him. If he gets the role those guys were getting, it's decent. I mean, Hubbard probably, I believe, is still there. I'm guessing. I'm sure he is. I should probably look that up. But Sanders, I don't think that's a bad spot for him at all. I really don't. If he gets to play anything like Foreman did, why can't he be solid there? He's a decent back.
Yeah, and Carolina didn't do anything to bolster their throwing, right? It actually got worse, so you think that they have to run the ball. They're going to signed Andy Dalton, and they got rid of DJ Moore. So
they're going to go get a quarterback, obviously.
But they're going to get a young one, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they got Andy Dalton as a kind of a maybe he starts the year, maybe he doesn't, whatever. But you're going to have to lean on that run game a little more than you would like. The big question for me is Miles Sanders could be a huge payoff if you draft him, but it's always the knock. He was always, up and down, and the injury bug bit him quite a few times. So where is he going to fall in there? He could end up with the lion's share of the carries, and in that case, it would be a really great place to end up.
So last year, Sanders' numbers actually are better than I even remember.
Yeah.
1,269 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Yeah. He did great.
It's pretty good.
He finally kind of lived up to the hype, and also that offense was supercharged on top of that. So remember that, 11 touchdowns is not going to be the norm. I would have a hard time believing he's going to repeat the touchdown numbers in Carolina. But as far as being a 1,000-yard rusher, he would be in line to get enough touches to do that, which would be really exciting. And they know how to use it. Obviously he's not McCaffrey, but they were putting people in positions where they could get quite a bit of yardage. The question now will be what kind of value does he have going into the year? I think that because this happens now, I don't think he's going to get overly hyped. Carolina is not going to be a great team, so I don't think his value is going to be anything crazy.
I don't know.
That's why all of a sudden I'm kind of I think I might kind of be jumping on the Miles Sanders bandwagon a little bit this year.
I haven't put together new ranks at all since these came out, but I have to think he's going to be mid-20s. That just feels like the spot for him, mid-20s-ish. And I think that's good value as your third running back with a guy who, they're a sneaky good running team. Foreman last year ran the ball 203 times for 914 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's with McCaffrey being on the team to start the year. He's still almost at 1,000 yards and a few touchdowns. I think it's going to be a decent position for him, where he can, if he's going to be mid-20s, I'm pulling up right now to see the latest. Okay, these are PPR ranks. This is from Mike Clay on ESPN. He just put these out today, actually. Miles Sanders, 24th.
Yeah. Well, good call. So that'll be interesting. And I can't say that this is where the other thing, and we'll go over all these other running backs. There's a handful more that we're going to talk about. The question is, running back is not getting the love. So there's only a handful of running backs that you think are elite. So all of a sudden, Miles Sanders is in this really generic, whatever that would be, third tier, where any one of them can jump up. If he stays healthy, I think he has a really good shot of being a very good running back in that tier.
He really could. So the next guy is going to replace him on our list, Rashad Penny.
Yeah, and that one
deal. Rashad Penny has all the talent in the world, right? He definitely can't stay healthy. That's his problem.
Yeah, I mean, every time he's healthy, his name comes up in a conversation, and we're like, if he can stay healthy, he's gonna turn some heads.
Here's his last 10 games: 149 carries, 1,017 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6.8 yards per carry. His last 10. Those are some pretty good numbers. The guy can't stay healthy though.
No,
but if he does, it's a steal.
Yeah,
He's a steal.
Once
Absolutely.
again, supercharged offense. So even if you think that he can't stay healthy, even if you think that they're going to use other running backs, what can he do in an offense that you're going to have to worry about many other people, right? You're going to have to worry about AJ. You're going to have to worry about Hurts. You're going to have to worry about, Devontae. There's a lot of people to worry about. And they put him in, and he could really do something great on the ground. And I don't think that, dump off a little pass to him too. He can really do it all. I don't think he gets enough love because of the headache he brings to everyone. And he just hasn't been healthy for a long enough stretch where everyone to be like, oh, yeah, the talent shows through. I mean, we all know it.
Yeah. Here we go. He's going to be on this rank I'm pulling up. He's 30th.
I mean, I get that. But once again, is he a better value than Miles Sanders? That's 6 spots above him. Once again, it's running back roulette. Whichever one stays healthy longer is going to be a great pick.
Let's say if he stays, either one of these guys, if they stay healthy, they are steals at their current
And
spot.
I'll be honest, if I could get a full season out of either of them, or say 13 games, I take Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's ranked lower has to be because of the injury concerns are even worse for him.
Yep.
And let's be honest, like Miles Sanders is coming off a career season too.
Next up, David Montgomery. David Montgomery to the Lions.
I can't believe I have to cheer for this guy now.
It's a good signing. It's a good pickup.
It is a good pickup, but crapping on this guy for all these years because he was in Chicago and just kind of overrated. But he's exactly what Detroit needs. Jamal Williams goes somewhere else. We'll talk about him together. He went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I will always cheer for that guy. He is awesome. Love him, love him, love him. But is he worth, go get your payday. Is he worth the money? Probably not. But
Montgomery got more.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Because I don't think he's better necessarily, but they're the same type of player. Like,
I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between the two.
You plug and play. These guys are hard-nosed runners that will get the job done. Would I have rather that money go to Jamal? Yeah, because I think he's better for the team overall. Does that matter in fantasy? No. So I
think David Montgomery's in a much better position than Jamal Williams, obviously. I don't think Jamal's in a bad spot. He's in that, with Kamara, he's probably in that old Mark Ingram role, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what he is. He's going to have some value.
Here's a question for that one. Are you afraid? How does that work for Kamara? Because are you afraid that Jamal Williams gets all the goal line carries now? Because that's the role he played in Detroit, and he scored a lot.
I do think it could factor. Definitely. I mean, that's what he excelled at. That's what Jamal excelled at. So why wouldn't you use him in that role? He had, 18 touchdowns?
Yeah, they've done everything they can in order to try to keep Kamara as healthy as possible.
I could definitely see him getting less work there, for sure.
Yeah.
And let's say Kamara's legal stuff still hasn't cleared up. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
God, that is hanging around forever.
I'm just saying, if there's something there's Jamal jumps, right?
Yep.
And like now in this latest rank, Jamal was 38th. This is PPR, but still, 38. He was 38th.
Where's Montgomery?
Montgomery was 21st. One spot behind DeAndre Swift at 20.
One spot above.
So, but really,
if he's going to get all the touchdown work, though.
So in reality, what this does is it keeps capping DeAndre Swift's ability to ever become anything bigger than what he is. He's just not going to be that guy. I think we're to that point.
I think. Well, we also know he's not. I don't think he's built for it either.
To be honest, I don't want DeAndre Swift at 20 even. I don't want it.
I was going to say I'm not. I'm just kind of off of the. I'm too afraid to have to play him week in and week out. Like, he would have to be more of a third running back for me now because I would feel secure taking him for third and knowing that I get half a season out of him and those will be good games. But I can't do a running back 2 for that.
So with that, that means as of now, Khalil Herbert's the guy in Chicago.
First of all, I think that's great.
We'll see if they add anybody. Well, they did. They added Deontay Foreman to be the backup, but will they draft somebody? That's the question. But
I maybe, but
if
I
they
feel
don't,
like they have
Herbert's going to be.
And Herbert was good last year. I feel like this is I'll say a year, but 2 years coming, and we kept talking about it. Like Montgomery could get his spot taken over. I think this is better for everyone. Herbert. Where is he ranked? Because I feel like
29th. Because I think that possible after the draft. Okay, let's say the draft comes along and they didn't add anybody. I think he jumps up.
Yeah,
I think that's what's hanging over it right now.
In that case, I would actually like Herbert more than I like. I'm not gonna lie, I would like him better than Montgomery. Montgomery right now is only that high because they're thinking that he can get Jamal Williams.
He's going to take Jamal's role. We know his role. We don't know Herbert's yet. That's probably what the whole is.
I think I would like Herbert a little bit more than these guys.
I would too if draft comes along and they don't pick somebody in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, probably 3.
Maybe 4 would get a little nervous, but I like that for Herbert. So next up, we talk about 2 of them. Damian Harris goes to Buffalo, and then return Devin Singletary then goes to Houston. So he's gone from Buffalo. So you got Damian Harris with it'll be him and James Cook.
Yeah.
I don't know if this opens up more for James Cook or if this is a Damian Harris thing now. If he's going to be more of the guy. It's an interesting – I don't know how this is going to be another one of those where it's how do you judge this backfield?
This one for me is like I usually say for Buffalo. I love it for Buffalo. I hate it for Damian Harris. I like what Damian Harris brings to any team. I really liked him on New England. I had him 2 years ago. Had him partially this past year. Obviously, with Stevenson, we kind of knew they had to figure out what they were going to do, right? And so if they're moving on from that, and Damian goes to Buffalo, that's great for him as far as a player. But I don't think Buffalo is going to all of a sudden change. And Devin Singletary, I thought, had quite a bit of talent, and I always thought that he was going to be the guy. And eventually, he kind of outlasted Moss. He kind of, but he wasn't ever able to secure his spot because it's just not built for primetime running back. You have Allen who can also run. You're going to be throwing the ball a ton. They're just too talented. So I think Damian Harris is probably in that spot where I'm not going to be looking to get him. Where does he end up right now?
43rd.
I think that's probably accurate.
James Cook is 27th.
27th
on this list, yeah.
Once again, it could be correct. I don't know if I have that much space in between them at the moment.
I don't think. If you're going James Cook 27 and Khalil Herbert 29, I'm taking Khalil Herbert all day. And Pacheco on this list is 28. I'm going to take Pacheco over.
Yeah, I would definitely take Pacheco.
We'll see. I like James Cook, but we might be. I don't think I'm going to take a chance on him inside the top 30.
Yeah. Second year, he can catch the ball really, really well. I think there's a lot they could do with him. Whether or not they're going to is a whole different story.
We got to hear a lot more about this situation. I don't know if I don't know if I want to touch the Buffalo situation.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Devin Singletary to Houston to be a backup to Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I was like, Singletary gets out, and if he went to a different team once again, and he could do fine in Houston. That's a rough one too. I think Pierce is built for that team.
But I think it might hinder Pierce a little bit too. I think they're going to use Singletary.
I think it hurts because in that offense, which is really, really bad, Pierce had his moments because they gave him the ball enough, right? You're going to give him 15 to 20 carries, and all of a sudden he has enough yards and, maybe finally gets in the end zone. That offense isn't going to all of a sudden become something it isn't. And so I think it's once again good for Pierce, but I don't like this move for Singletary, and Houston is kind of a dumpster fire.
I don't see a lot of fantasy relevance coming from him.
No, I don't either.
Sometimes, some weeks, but not a lot.
I have to ask Pierce. I'm more interested in Pierce. I think Singletary is going to get buried. But
they ranked him 22nd, Pierce, and Singletary 39th.
Yeah, see, I think this hurts. I don't think I would put Pierce that high.
I just don't love it for him. I don't love the situation.
I don't either.
Next up. There's a lot of the rest of these are going to be annoyances.
Yeah.
Samaje Perine goes to Denver. It's basically just Javonte Williams insurance because Williams is coming off the ACL.
Yep.
Don't know where he's going to be. Samaje's a okay player.
He's fine.
On this rank, They put Javonte 18th and Samaje 41st. So
yeah, okay.
James Robinson goes to New England. I feel like he's going to be a pest for Ramondre.
Yep.
So Damian Harris leaves, and I'm like, yes, Ramondre, top 10 back. And then they sign James Robinson. You just know Belichick's going to use the guy.
Yeah, James Robinson, it feels like there's 2 signings by New England, and I'm like, this is the perfect. Of course, both of these players ended up in New England, where they're just going to annoy the living crap out of me.
It's going to be worse for me because James Robinson, if you listen to the show, has been an annoyance of me for years. And now he gets to go against like my favorite running back who I thought was going to get the full job. God, I hate this.
And I do think that first of all, they always use a plethora of people.
Yeah.
I don't know how James Robinson can steal. All he has to do is find one little niche that Belichick loves, and he could become a real thorn. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a problem.
They put him at 45 on these ranks with Stevenson 11th. So I
mean, I think currently, yes, but that is one big play away in training camp for everyone to be like, I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said, Deontay Foreman with Chicago, and then the last one that probably doesn't matter. Chase Edmonds goes to Tampa, who also released Leonard Fournette. So at this point, it's just Rashad White. Chase Edmonds, I think, just never lives up to anything. So there we go. There's running backs. A lot of annoyances there with a couple potential. I mean, and the ones that left, the ones who have potential can get hurt. So that's running back for you. QB wise, we got a lot of mediocre ones right here. 3 mediocre quarterbacks probably going to mediocre teams, I'm going to say. Maybe even worse than that. Derek Carr goes to the Saints. Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the Raiders. And Baker Mayfield goes to Tampa. Most likely all 3 of them will be the starters. Carr, I mean, definitely is a starter. Garoppolo should be. Baker, most likely. It seems like that's what they're going with. I mean, with the Saints, it's probably an upgrade for them with Derek Carr from what they were doing.
Without a doubt.
That's the upgrade for sure.
Yes.
I think this could be good for Michael Thomas, who just re-signed.
Olave,
Kamara,
he does have, and I want to.
Yeah.
Derek Carr on Las Vegas was not bad, and when they gave him a legitimate target, he did very, very well with Adams. What happened to him there? Whatever. Not for me to decide. I get it, but at the same time, I don't like the way they handled it. I'm kind of cheering for Carr, but he's going somewhere where they know how to win, and he does have a lot of players. If Michael Thomas is anything like he was, and let's be honest, the one game he was healthy, or whatever you want to call it, the few games he was healthy, in the limited amount of time in the past 5 years, 3 years really, but he actually looked good still. Yeah. And Olave really, really stepped up. When you have Kamara, that is the quarterback's best friend. And
then a goal line back in Jamal Williams. It's a solid group.
I feel like Derek Carr could put up surprising numbers. I don't know where that means I'm going to put him because QB is deep. And am I going to go out my way to take Derek Carr to try to reap the benefits? No,
he's a streaming option and that kind of thing.
And that's the way it's going to start.
So then you look at the next team. Obviously, Raiders replace Carr with Garoppolo, and how's that not a downgrade? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not saying it's like a huge downgrade, but their whole plan was to get rid of Derek Carr. But what's Jimmy Garoppolo? It's just Jimmy Garoppolo.
I still feel like they're trying. I don't think they want Garoppolo to be the starter in a way.
No.
I think they're like, we need to have someone here.
Yeah.
Garoppolo comes in on a
maybe. I don't know. I can't see that being a great situation.
How much
with Devontae?
I was just say how much Devontae has to be like.
He hates it.
Mother,
I'm not saying they'll be bad. I mean, Garoppolo's not a terrible quarterback. He's okay.
He's a mediocre quarterback, and that's not. And that in the NFL, you're a pretty talented guy, but you're. I mean, is he better than Derek Carr? I'm not saying Derek Carr was
think so.
God's gift to quarterbacking, but I think he was relatively good.
And then the last one, Baker Mayfield goes to Tampa. It has to be a downgrade.
I mean, that's a huge downgrade. But at the same time,
he has Evans and Godwin.
I would want to get a little more excited for this, but Baker has not lived up to any sort of hype at any sort of time. And even though he does have good wide receivers, he also had really good wide receivers in Cleveland, and that didn't pan out for him. So do I think this could be a renaissance? Perhaps, but I don't think it's anything like he would be lucky if he cracked the top 10.
Yep.
And that, and that's what you're going to be drafting. So once again, that one does not matter to me.
Let's go to receivers. DJ Moore traded to Chicago in the trade for Carolina to get the number 1 pick. I don't know what Justin Fields is. He's a great runner. He's good for fantasy, But as a passer and to make DJ Moore a number one receiver,
I mean, I think it's good for Chicago.
I think he could be. I think he. I don't know if he'll be overhyped though. I'm okay. I'll pull up. I was curious. I have no clue.
I bet he's gonna be overhyped.
26th on this rank.
Really?
That's not bad.
No. That actually makes me more interested in him.
There's just one rank. It's just Mike Clay's rank.
DJ Moore has the talent. We have no doubt about that. And we every year we came in and we're like, is he still in Carolina? Then no, I don't want him. Mm-hmm. But every year he came out with it was because every year he catches 4 touchdowns, and you know that's his cap, and he's not going anywhere else. He was so talented that he was able to put up numbers in spite of that. I don't know if this is an upgrade. I think this is great for Chicago, but in this first year, he starts getting to the back end of that, closer to 30, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'll take that risk.
We got to see Justin Fields throw a little better. Because Fields is going to be good on fantasy. He just is. But
yeah,
this is interesting. I don't know.
And it's not like he's the only one on the field either. I mean, a little bit of unproven, but at the same time, you still have Claypool and
and
Mooney, which that's a great trio, really.
Cole Kmet at tight end.
Yeah, and yep, exactly. He can catch a few. I almost fall off the table. Yeah, he can catch a few touchdowns, and you have Herbert, which we like for the most part.
It's interesting,
and it does. This is the one thing that really, really intrigues me about it is when you have someone like Justin Fields, where he's obviously not quite as talented as a runner as like Lamar or something, but those plays when you embrace it does open up some broken plays, some throws down the field. And DJ Moore has the speed. He can do a lot of really good things. You saw it with like Hollywood Brown, where, we called him a one-trick pony at times. But if you get a couple of those and all of a sudden that 4 touchdowns turns into 8 because you have 4 deep balls on top of whatever else you do in the, in the red zone, all of a sudden you have a really good looking year. So I'm kind of intrigued. I think Justin Fields is capable of making a jump this year. I think he's a talented guy. I like his running, and that's why we always kind of drafted him or why we picked him up in waivers. But I think that his arm strength and his accuracy is good enough when everyone's going to be worried about him taking off on him.
It's true. So if DJ Moore's really going around 26, that's what ends up being draft time. It's intriguing.
Yeah, because I'll have to see who else is ranked around there.
Okay, so right ahead of him is Mike Evans. Jerry Jeudy.
And you have Baker Mayfield.
This says Chris Olave at 23. I love that, actually. I'll take that.
Yeah, I love Olave, too.
All right, so we'll see how it goes. Next up, Brandon Cooks. Traded again. This guy is...
I'm not going to lie. Love it.
This is a good move.
This is one where I'm like...
Trade to the Cowboys.
Yep. I was like, where is he rank, actually?
On this rank...
Because he's going to be underranked.
38th.
Yeah, I'm taking him all day. Mm-hmm. All day.
Why not? I mean, I think this is a great move. I love the trade. I think it's a good, solid trade.
He produces everywhere he goes.
I mean, he's going to be the number 2, right? Like,
Lamb is number 1.
Yeah, he's their number 2. Like, that's a solid number. And then Gallup is their 3. That's a really solid.
I mean, I guess I'm assuming Gallup doesn't overtake him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think so. That is a possibility.
But this guy's been traded like 4 times now. I looked it up. He's never signed with a team as a free agent, which is crazy how many times he's been on team. He's always been traded.
Here's the thing, too. He produces I got to pull up his numbers because he produces everywhere he goes, and he's always, besides for New Orleans, when he was on the Saints early on, I mean, he just spent a couple of years in Houston. What a terrible place to be, and he still put up numbers.
And last year, I think he ended up missing the end of the season.
He has had some concussion stuff,
yeah.
But
he's a good number 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, the guy can put up yardage, too. So
I like it.
I do, too.
Move. I like it.
I like that one a lot.
Juju Smith-Schuster goes to the Patriots.
He is that makes so much sense. Where you're going to be like, okay, how much can he do on the Chiefs and this and that, and then you're going to go to New England and they're going to, get your money, but you're going to be forgotten there.
I mean, he's their number 1 too.
I don't care
because Jacoby Myers went to the Raiders, which I think they have no interest in that either.
Yeah,
but. Juju's the number 1 with Mac Jones throwing to him. It just doesn't feel...
Just do not care.
Right? And the rankings don't either. He's 43rd, and he's the number 1 receiver on the team.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, I think so. Interesting career after starting out so promising with that. huge year alongside Antonio Brown.
I know, and I hate to give Antonio Brown turned out to be whatever he is, but I hate to get. But you just realize how talented of a guy he was because he made Juju look like he was getting open, but really they were just like, we have to double Antonio every single time.
Yep. All right, next up, Adam Thielen goes to Carolina to play with whatever quarterback they end up with. Either Stroud or Young. I don't know which one they'll go with.
I'm super bummed at this. I think Thielen could have been.
He could. And why couldn't he have been like a 3 on a contender?
Yeah, that's where I was hoping he was going to go because I was like, that would have been a sneaky play. Carolina, if DJ Moore couldn't do it, Adam Thielen at the end of his career, pretty much.
I mean, he's their number 1, isn't he?
As of right now, I think. Yeah.
He has to be.
He'll probably be their number. What is he? I don't know. What do they still have? Terrence Marshall and.
I mean, is that it?
Did they pick up someone?
Let me pull up their depth chart here. I think it's ugly. It's not. And actually, think about that. That's probably how great is that for either Stroud or Young, whoever they pick. That's terrible. They better draft somebody too.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, no, it's Thielen, Terrace Marshall, Laviska Shenault.
Shenault, who's the one that
those are the three. Those are the three. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't like it.
I was looking I wanted to be nice, but I'm like, you know what? We do think that there's something there, but right now with the young quarterback and everything, and none of that is.
They ranked him 48th on this season.
Yeah, and that's correct.
I don't like it. Like we said, Jacoby Myers went to the Raiders. No, that's just Josh. What
I like how you laughed at that.
He's just getting Patriots guys. Like they're doing the same thing. Like
it's dumb.
This is what they do. This is what Patricia tried to do with the Lions. It was terrible. They're just no good. Like I don't like it. Next up, Allen Lazard goes to the Jets. Obviously, with the idea that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there.
Right.
It's still odd that the trade hasn't happened yet. Even though he literally said on McAfee's show last week that his plan is to play for the Jets, and we're still a week later, and there's no deal yet.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing.
Who knows why it's being held up? I mean, man, the Packers have put themselves in some weird positions, but
even
the Jets would immediately become a contender.
They would, but Lazard fantasy wise, don't care to be honest.
No, I don't care.
Garrett Wilson's the number 1.
Garrett Wilson would make a huge I mean, he'd have to be like a top 10 wide receiver. That's the craziest part. I've never thought I would say that.
Then I'm not sure Lazard's better than Corey Davis. So
yeah, I don't know.
And I think I've heard rumors that if there is this deal, could be Elijah Moore going back to the Packers, which would be interesting. I think that would be good for the Packers to take him and pair him up with Christian Watson and Jordan Love.
Yeah, I like Elijah Moore. I almost kind of feel bad for him, but I think it would actually be better for him to go to the Packers.
I think that's what he needs to do.
And I would be bummed for Christian, but yeah, well, I don't know. That'll shake things up a bit.
And then the last receiver one I have here is Robert Woods goes to the Texans, and I don't care.
that guy has had a fall from grace. I feel
that's another team that's going to be. They'll be drafting. They're number 2, right? Because they blew it. Lovie Smith screwed them over at the end. They should have had number 1. So they'll either get Stroud or Young. They get whoever the Panthers don't take. But again, both of those quarterbacks are going into rough situations with receivers. So the Houston just has Nico Collins and Robert Woods. I don't love that.
So, no. It's brutal.
Yeah. So tight ends. Darren Waller traded to the Giants. Interesting. Not sure fantasy value, though. I'm just not. He didn't do a lot last year, even when he was playing.
He was going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is it does feel like the Giants are kind of set up to use a good tight end, and we know that he can be more of a bell cow.
Mm-hmm.
Barkley, they started off really, really hot. I'm kind of intrigued by this one.
It's interesting.
I like Darren Waller, but
they don't have a dominant number 1 receiver either.
Exactly. I mean, it just has not worked out for them, and for whatever reason. So he
could be their main receiver.
Yeah, I do think that one could be a really good pick. And the problem with that is tight ends are, I mean, he's immediately in the top 5 because of this trade. I mean, he already was. So what value are you actually getting from this? That's kind of my question, because you're not going to take him over someone established. So, you're kind of just taking a risk, even though you're still getting him at the same spot you were getting him last year.
So the Giants then receiver depth. I didn't have those. So they signed Paris Campbell as well at receiver. So their receivers are, let's see, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Paris Campbell, Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
So Waller could definitely.
Yeah, he should be.
He could do something good here. If that, we'll see. I mean, I still don't think he's going to be ranked. I think he'll still be ranked in the top.
I would say top 5.
Right?
It's tight end. I mean,
like
who
he
else
has
is
to
there?
be, right?
I mean, start naming tight ends. It's the same ones over and over again. It's Kelsey and Andrews, and then.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, Kelsey.
I mean, and it'll be Kittle, even though you're kind of like
Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, probably Waller right there, and I feel like I'm missing someone.
I'm pulling it up here. Okay, here we go. Here's what the rank said: Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson 3,
yep.
Waller 4.
Waller 4. Okay, so yeah,
Goddard, Pitts, Kittle.
Okay, wow. They dropped Kittle already, which is I actually kind of agree with, but that's what happens when you're kind of like
tight end
is rough, man.
Man, I think you got to look at Travis Kelsey.
You're like, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but he's pretty good.
Because next up, Mike Gesicki goes to the Patriots. Man, a guy who feel like has the talent, just never done it, and I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen there. I kind of like. I like the move for him because there's not dominant receivers there, right? There's just Juju, like we said. So there's an opportunity.
This is what I'll say about that. The tight end is where did they put him actually?
He's going to be with Hunter Henry at 28th. Wow, he's down.
Okay,
there.
I don't agree with that at all. They do, and I realize that they've had some really talented guys. They do know how to use tight ends. Gesicki
he has talent, I think.
No, what? I don't know. I'm talking myself out of it, but I do kind of like that one. I don't think they would have gone after him if they're not going to use him.
He's not going to be drafted in fantasy, but it's a guy to like just keep on your radar and just watch, see how it's going.
I'd be more. And Hunter Henry, I loved him too, and they did get him some touchdowns, but he never panned out.
And they only have him at 23rd.
But they never got Jonnu Smith going either, and that one kind of confused me. So, yeah.
Dalton Schultz goes to the Texans. Like we said, Texans don't have any. They have very little wide receiver talent, so he'll have an opportunity. But again, who's going to throw the ball to him? It's going to be a rookie. So.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst goes to the Panthers after playing what he played with Cincinnati last year.
Yep.
So goes to the Panthers. Robert Tonyan goes to Chicago to be the second tight end. It's weird, right? He was maybe just falling apart in Green Bay. Don't want to be there. And then O.J. Howard goes to the Raiders. O.J. Howard.
At that point, you just get your money. That's fine.
Man, that guy, he had so much talent too, I thought.
He did. He was a freak and just.
And then some others. Zeke was released, so we don't know where he's going to go. That's an interesting one. He's going to he won't be the lead back anywhere he goes. He'll be. I feel like I'd say he could be a goal line back, but then I have flashbacks to a couple years ago when he couldn't put one in from the 1 yard line on 3 tries.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know what happened with him.
I mean, he's fine. He's a good player. I think that I get Dallas saying he's not worth the money anymore because it was still a large amount. They save I forget how much it was in the first year just for releasing him.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So you do that because you want to go out and you know. In their mind, they're making a push. They have all these guys that they have to pay. Zeke could go, and I don't know. I really,
honestly, still makes sense on the Cowboys with a cheap deal. It's the part that sucks. So you actually make sense there.
If they sign him on a different deal, I don't think you can now. But like
Fournette could go there, maybe.
Right,
that's the next one. Another guy.
But that's what I was wondering. I was like, Zeke could go. If I was him, I'd be going to a contender, and I would be looking to split carries with someone else because he does everything well. Is he the spry young leg guy that goes going to get 30 carries? No. But do I want to give that guy 12 carries a game? Hell yeah, I do. Like he can protect the quarterback. He would be a perfect guy to go to like the Jets for like 2 years, so so they can get the young guy healthy. And if they got Aaron Rodgers, and all of a sudden you go for a title shot, right? That would be like the perfect spot for him.
I haven't heard any. Trying to see if there's any like Zeke rumors. Oh, the Cowboys just signed Ronald Jones to replace him.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I haven't not really heard any rumors for Zeke.
What about Seattle? I mean, it sounds weird, but
I mean,
you heaven knows you can't have just one running back. I love Walker, but that would be a good spot for him. You get enough carries. They overachieved. Hopefully they get a little bit better talent-wise. Who knows if they can.
I'm trying to see. There's Yeah, I'm just not seeing. I said, could the Buffalo Bills sign it? Maybe. That's not the worst.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if they really need that. Man, that would just
for him. It makes no sense to not go to a
race.
contender for a minimum deal.
Yeah, it just
absolutely what you should do.
Absolutely. And if you really want to, and for him too, it'd be nice to get a couple years of guaranteed money because you never know what's going to happen. But he's going to get paid out partially by the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, so he should go. We'll see what happens. And then Leonard Fournette, same deal. See how that plays out. I feel like we might be waiting a little bit, and they'll go sign minimum deals somewhere. Kenny Galladay released. Man, what a fall.
I don't know what he's going to do, to be quite honest.
I don't either. Like, he almost feels like this is like, is he just not going to catch on anywhere?
Might be done.
That's it. I mean, has that feel?
I feel like someone would throw him a very minimal contract to be like, can you get healthy?
That was a great move not to re-sign him as for the Lions.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
And then some of the players left available. Lamar is still officially out there. So, I mean, we all assume he's going to go back to Baltimore, but with the way they have that he's an exclusive rights free agent, Ravens can match anything. And if anybody does sign him, they have to give two first-round picks.
It's a lot.
So it's tough. It's a tough situation. So Lamar, it's not a great situation for him at all.
No, and remember this too. I think this is Lamar is an unbelievable talent. Maybe, I mean, he could be the greatest running quarterback we've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
The problem with that is the Ravens did a wonderful job of making an offense around Lamar. If you go anywhere else that doesn't quite know how to do that because they have a shiny new toy and they're just like, oh my God, this is great. We're just going to be able to run and throw and do all that. It could be disastrous because you have to keep the guy healthy. Yeah. And because that's, a huge part of his game. So I don't really want to see him go to get a huge contract for what I would consider is like a haphazard team and watch the guy get injured in a year. That would be the most upsetting thing. I think I would love to see him stay in Baltimore, but I do wonder the fact that they don't want to pay him. What is that going to do? Even though I think it's a smart, it's a smart move by them.
I get it.
Yeah, but heaven knows. I mean, he deserves the paycheck for sure. But I wouldn't do it if I was Baltimore either.
And then some of the other guys, I guess, notable names. There's not really any, but too many big names. Odell Beckham's out there. There's a lot of Jets rumors. If Rodgers goes there, that seems to be the biggest rumor. So maybe it's interesting. I don't know. I hate it for Garrett Wilson. I feel like you have good receivers anyway, Jets. Like, you should Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. They weren't bad.
I feel like Odell is Odell. Like, obviously
he can be good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can be. But if you did get Aaron Rodgers, that would be my thing where it's like, okay, get someone that has been around the block. He can help teach. Yeah. He can be that security blanket as far as like if any injuries occur, blah blah blah. So, but it would take away from. But I think Garrett Wilson is that talented where he would be the number one still.
Yeah, I think so.
Like even if he was technically the number two, I think he would catch more balls. Yeah. He would get more targets. All of that.
McCole Hardman's a free agent. He's been talking to the Vikings. That was the latest rumor. Without Thielen, maybe. I guess I don't know if he'll ever. Never lived up to it, what we wanted to.
Yeah, it's too bad.
And DJ Chark, he has been, biggest rumors are still going back to the Lions or possibly Panthers. So,
I mean, if I was him, I'd want to stay in Detroit.
I think that's the way to go. So Detroit's winning free agency is one of the things I saw yesterday.
I know.
They're killing it, man.
Yeah.
Expectations.
It's finally good to be a Detroit fan. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it I don't want to get too hyped.
They got what's his name? Oh my God, from the Eagles.
Gardner?
Yeah, Gardner Johnson. My favorite tweet about it I saw was on Reddit. A Packers fan wrote, "That's it? That's the deal? I would have signed him for 3 years, whatever, million." And then a Lions fan responded, "Yeah, but he wanted to play for a contender, I bet." So, it's great.
That's funny. I love it, though. 1 year and we're so fucking cocky.
We didn't make the playoffs.
No, we didn't. But it felt like we did.
The Lions, how many teams are actually ahead of the Lions in Super Bowl odds? Not many.
What?
Lions are in the top 10 for Super Bowl odds.
I mean, that seems foolish.
Let me pull this up before we get on. See if I can get
I love it, but that seems.
Let's see here. I gotta show you this. This feels like we are getting set up for major disappointment. We're usually pretty good at not like getting disappointed because they're Lions fans.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The favorite is the Chiefs at plus 600.
Yeah.
49ers at plus 700.
Okay.
Bills at plus 850. Makes sense.
Yep.
Eagles plus 850. All makes sense.
Yeah.
Bengals plus 900. Makes sense.
Yep.
Jets at plus 1400 already because of it's all Aaron Rodgers based.
Yeah.
Cowboys at plus 1400. The very next team is the Detroit Lions. It's plus 2,500. It goes a little more, but the Lions are 8th in Super Bowl odds.
What? Who
Same odds as the Ravens, Chargers, Dolphins. Same odds as those 3 teams.
Well, first of all, good for the Dolphins that they jumped up there too.
But same odds as the Lions are 8th.
Dude, how does that feel if you're a Baltimore fan or if you're what was the other team? Man, Chargers. Yeah. Man, you guys fell off.
Here we go. NFC winner just to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So to basically make the Super Bowl, Niners plus 330, Eagles plus 400, Cowboys plus 600, fourth best odds, Detroit Lions plus 1,000.
I love it.
They are the 4th best odds in the NFC to make the Super Bowl.
It would be funny though if Aaron Rodgers leaves. I mean, it's one of those where all of a sudden we do look pretty darn good in our division. But
I know I'm trying not to get too hyped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think that is a ridiculous thing. I would love to make the playoffs and win one game. Win one game. I just want one playoff win.
The only time they won a playoff game,
fan.
I was like 5, so I don't remember it.
I will say this: the one thing, there's certain like personalities and stuff that you can't really replace. And as long as I know they keep drafting them, and I 100% behind them, I believe them. But like Jamal Williams, I would have loved to pay just a little bit more in order to keep a guy like that around, because it does seem like he's one of those guys that keeps. But I know there's a lot of guys like that, but that'll be a hard one. His interviews, I'm gonna really miss.
Yep. Oh man, try not to get too hyped. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. We'll be back in about a month-ish, just over a month. Yeah. I think the NFL draft. We'll come back, probably talk about the first round of the NFL draft and everything in about a month or so. So until then, talk to you guys later.